Hi, this is Trevor from GHD-repair.co.uk. Today we're going to have a quick look at a number of different models from the GHD hair straightener range, and we're going to be looking at how to safely remove the hinge cover that's fitted to both sides of the irons. We're going to start off with this very old pair of GHD MS irons. We don't tend to see these very often, but they're perfectly repairable, and all parts are available for these from our shop. But the hinge cap is interesting on this one because the plastic is almost flush with that of the arm, and it's quite hard to get in with a screwdriver, especially this side. There is no gap really at all. Hopefully you can see that on there. So if you can't get even your finest screwdriver in, really the only way to do it is carefully use a sharp blade and try and get it in between the two bits of, there we go, the bits of plastic there, and just gently lever that up until that comes out. Now on the very old irons, you'll notice the cap has two equal length tabs. We'll just remove the other side. There's a little bit more gap on this because the arm's a bit worn, and this has been done a number of times. But again, just pop that under. Generally they're a little bit stiffer than that. The plastic arms on this are a little bit weak. If you do happen to break off one of these plastic tabs, really the only thing to do is apply some super glue either side of the break and then pop it back in, hold it in place for 20 seconds or so, and you should be good to go. So yeah, that is the MS equal size tabs. So onto the, again, old but perfectly repairable 3.1 model. Slightly different cap here. You'll see hopefully on the camera that the plastic is more proud than the MS, and it's much easier to get a screwdriver in. You do need to go in at this position. Do not be trying, don't go in at these positions because you will mark the plastic of the irons. Now that may not bother you, and that's absolutely fine, but if you want to do no damage at all, get the screwdriver in there, just wiggle it around top and bottom like so. Remember the tabs are there and there, and on the 3.1s you'll notice that the tabs, we have a normal length one and then the shorter length there, so obviously they will only go one way round. So we'll just do that again, hopefully facing the camera. So just gently wiggle the screwdriver into the gap and then move it up and down, and one of them will release and then the other will go. Again, break either of those, a little bit of super glue either side, and then pop it back in the correct way around, and that will be absolutely fine. So on to the Mark IV. This is a 4.1 actually, but it doesn't matter. There's 4.0, 4.1, 4.2, Type 1. So Type 1 has these slots that you can see. Now, something that can happen, if you look hopefully into here, you'll see the cap has actually broken and left the plastic tab actually inside that slot. So if you have a new cap, it's going to be quite hard to get that in, and you can take these apart like that, or try without, but just get a screwdriver into there and just lever out a bit of plastic there. That's come out. You can sometimes do that when the irons are together, but often the plastic will go into the arms and it'll be rattling around. It's not going to do any damage, but it can be a pain, and that's purely because the cap has broken. So we've got the normal cap in good condition on this side. Again, try and get your screwdriver into the gap, wiggle it around, a little bit of gentle levering, and that will come off. Again, slightly different lengths of the tabs, 4 point whatever type 1, this one is slightly longer than the 4 point whatever type 2 irons. Okay, so it's important to order the right one if you are replacing caps on that type 1. Now this is the type 2, and you can tell that because it's got these little dots and sort of bigger slots in there. Same thing though, get into the side here, just wiggle it backwards and forwards, a little bit of light pressure to lever it up, and that will pop off. This one, this side is even shorter than the type 1 cap, and that's how to identify those. The Mark 5 series, exactly the same as the 4.2 type 2s, exactly the same method of removal. Just get into the gap and wiggle, and that will pop off. Something you may find is the plastic of the arms may break, and it will be just this section here or the section on here just at the top. If that happens, the hinge caps cannot grip and stay in place on one side. And of course you might break both sides if you're particularly clumsy, but it's normally just one side only. The plastic will break out, and it's normally that side there, the one without the hole going all the way through, unlike this side. If that happens, a little bit of super glue both sides. Make sure you're putting these back in the right way so the longer tab goes into the hole that you can see that goes right into the hinge. Always put the shorter tab in first, even if it's broken and you're gluing it, and click it into place. So shorter tab first and then click, and you are done. Exactly the same on the wide plate models. This is the SS5, and it's the same as the Mark 5 that we just looked at. But the older models, SS2, SS, any of the wide plate ones, they all open up the same way. In and wiggle. Excuse me. Same on the other side. Sometimes it's quite tight. This one's actually gone on quite tight, but a bit of perseverance and that will come off. Something to bear in mind on all of the irons is in the winter, if you're in a cold room or the plastic's very fragile because the irons are quite old, it's always a good idea to heat the plastic up. Either leave the irons in a nice warm room for a few hours, or use a hairdryer gently over the plastic just to warm it up. It makes it a little less brittle and obviously less prone to breaking either the caps, tab, or the plastic of the arm. So yeah, all of these caps are available. We have new ones for the 3.1, 4.0 or 4.1, 4.2 type 1s, and then the Mark 4.2 type 2. So you can buy new ones, and we also keep a whole range of used caps, hinge caps. So, and if you don't see the particular colour or the one you want on the website, just email us, and I'm sure out of thousands that I've got here we can find the right one for you. Obviously the used ones will be in varying conditions. Some are like new, and others will have signs of wear. This one's got a little bit of wear. Obviously that one's got an awful lot of wear. I'll obviously pick out the best one that I can find from the ones we've got available, but that's how to remove the hinge cover. Hope that helps.